There's a crush you can never tell anyone about, your boyfriend's best friend, and the shame you feel about it. That's the part everyone gets wrong. This feeling is sending you three signals, and number three is the one that quietly destroys relationships that could have been saved. Stay with me. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Maya. 3 years with her boyfriend. Kind, stable, loyal. The guy her friends said she was lucky to have. Then his best friend Dan stayed over one weekend. But Dan asked about her old photography account, something her own boyfriend hadn't mentioned in a year. He laughed at a joke her boyfriend usually talked over. And when he left Sunday night, Maya sat in her car and cried, ashamed of how alive she'd felt. So she did what most people do, avoided Dan, picked fights with her boyfriend for reasons he couldn't see, Googled, "Am I a terrible person?" at 2 a.m. It hurts in a way you can't tell anyone, because confessing it feels like burning down 3 lives at once. But here's what Maya got wrong, and what you're probably getting wrong too. She thought the crush was about Dan. It wasn't. The crush is a deficit report, not a desire report. Look, every crush is a message, not about him, but about what's gone missing where you are. So the question that broke it open for Maya wasn't, what do I feel for Dan? It was, what did Dan give me in one weekend that I've stopped getting at home? Attention, curiosity, being seen as interesting instead of just familiar. The feeling didn't appear because Dan is special. It appeared because a need went unfed, and long enough that the first person to feed it looked like destiny. So now your boyfriend's best friend is the perfect trap. He's pre-approved by your own standards, already trusted, already inside your circle, already vetted by the person you chose. Add the one ingredient that makes any feeling feel like fate. It's forbidden. And you get the most flammable combination the brain knows. You're not broken, you're running normal wiring in a very specific trap. So stop asking who he is and start auditing what he gave you. The crush shows you exactly where you've gone quiet. Maya never told her boyfriend she felt invisible. She just slowly stopped offering the parts of herself he stopped asking about. The photography, the jokes, the stories she used to tell him first. Here's the thing about unspoken needs, they don't disappear. They go looking for an exit. And his best friend was simply the nearest door, so trace it backwards. Whatever lit up around him is exactly what you stopped voicing at home. Not because your boyfriend refused it, but because you stopped asking for it out loud. That's not a betrayal, that's a map. And most women burn the map instead of reading it. And now signal 3, the one I told you to wait for. So the danger was never that you'll act on the crush. Most people don't. The danger is what you do instead. You withdraw to stay safe. You avoid the friend, go cold with your boyfriend out of guilt, get irritable. Because shame always dresses up as irritation. He feels all of it with no explanation, so he fills in the blank with the worst story available. The relationship doesn't die from the crush, it dies from the quarantine you build around it. Here's the master key. A feeling you can name is a feeling you can manage. The moment Maya reframed, "I want Dan" into "I want to feel interesting again," the crush lost most of its power. You don't confess the crush. You confess the need, like, "I miss feeling like you're curious about me." That there was never the confession you owed anyone. The need was. So, one more time. 1. The crush is a deficit report. Audit what he gave you, not who he is. 2. It maps where you've gone quiet. 3. The real threat is the quarantine. The guilt-driven withdrawal your partner feels but can't decode. Do this, and the best friend goes back to being a guy on a couch. He was never the point. He was the mirror. But here's the other half of the equation. Everything I've said assumes the deficit is fixable. Sometimes the crush isn't a deficit report. It's an exit sign. There is a differences between them, and getting it wrong costs you either a relationship that could have been great or years in one that was already over. If this hit home, you're not a bad person. You're someone whose needs learn to whisper. Subscribe if you want them to stop. I'll see you in the next one.